SwissBorg is the official partner of my channel where you can buy, sell, hold, and more importantly stake your cryptocurrencies. You can even earn yield on your stablecoins. Sign up with my link and you'll earn up to $100 worth of their native token CHSB just for depositing €50 worth of crypto. SwissBorg. Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's have a look at all these markets as Powell, I suppose, dumped the market to an extent. It's not over yet. He's speaking again today. What's he going to say? What's he going to do? What's he going to say? So we'll sit back and watch and wait the show. He's going to do and say something, isn't he? I mean, something's going to be said. So if we were to focus on the charts and just recognize what the charts are doing, and we'll focus on those, and also just expect volatility to continue anyway because an old man sits and speaks. There is, well, I suppose not a contradiction in what we're looking at, but there is things outside of the chart which can move regardless. But we'll start with the euro on the 4-hourly. Again, you've got to bear with me, but on the 4-hourly, it looks as though we've hit this almost like a double bottom potentially. That's not just based on that. If we go to the daily, it's a bit more obvious when we see it like this. Quite a fair bit of historical sideways horizontal support, but also it's back to that 200 exponential, the golden cross retest. Now this obviously isn't like a support of steel. It can break. It definitely can break. And we think about the power of the dollar yesterday, because Powell says, oh, I think I'm just going to keep raising the rates higher. I think I might do that. So we're like, all right, okay. So the market's basically pricing in what they think he's going to do. Remember that, pricing in. So if we've already priced in, or if this has effectively been priced in, what else can he say today? Which is going to be even more bearish for these markets. Can he say something else which is even worse than that? Or has he said all that needs to be said? As far as this chart is concerned, this is a pretty strong support, and I have taken a position on the euro at this level. Again, you know, it's these sort of setups like this that are quite nice, you see, because not only was there that double bottom, whether it was clear on the 4-hourly, you can obviously see it here, but it's also a support on the daily. So if that's a support for the euro and we expect maybe a bounce, maybe to the 10, maybe to the 20, we're looking for a 1% bounce potentially from this level, give or take a 1% bounce. And again, that's just the euro, just a 1% bounce. It's neither here nor there. But guess who else is doing something similar to this? Gold. Not on the 4-hourly, but if we go to the daily, we're quite close to our 200 exponential. Very similar setup. Golden cross back down here, retest with that golden cross, an attempt to double bottom around here. Same kind of vibe around here. Now it didn't actually tag it. It's quite close, but it didn't quite tag. So we'll be looking at this and going, all right, same kind of setup, same rule would apply. A position around this level. If you are prepared to wait, you might get it. If you're looking to front run it, maybe now would be the time. And a tight stop loss in case we lose this area. Because again, it's not made of steel. It's made of gold, which is obviously not the strongest thing you've ever seen in the world. So it's an opportunity there for thou to take if thou feel like thou has risk management for thou. S&P, similar on the 4-hourly. The 200 exponential on the 4-hourly got tested at the moment. On the daily, it's kind of neither here nor there on the daily. And in all fairness, we kind of should expect a bit more downside on stocks, really, down to that 200 simple moving average, or maybe even the trend line, which has been, if we just take off all this noise, we can see it a bit clearer. We had the giant bear market trend line, da-boo, da-boo, da-boom. And then when we broke out from it, we did retest it once and twice very neatly. So maybe we get that once again. Again, I'm not particularly bowled over by the state of this chart at the moment. 4-hourly makes it look very much like a downtrend, which it is, but we haven't lost areas or significant areas on the 4-hourly yet. In fact, we are more or less holding on those areas at the moment. So again, there is opportunity here. It's not quite as crisp and clear as the euro and gold. But we don't want to know about any of that. We want to know about Bitcoin. What's Bitcoin doing? Well, it's the same old thing, isn't it? There's your 200 exponential, the golden cross retest. So it's the same thing that we've talked about since we got the golden cross. Same thing that we've expected since we were reaching these highs. Now that we've got to these areas, we still have to stick to the original analysis, which is that, all right, it's very likely that we do come down to retest it. That's actually how these things normally behave. We see it on the euro, see it on gold, see it on Bitcoin. If it breaks, no big deal. We go down lower. We go down into this box between 21,500, 20,500 and see if this box can hold. At that point, I would probably say it's less likely for it to hold, although it could. just because we would be forming lower lows and effectively a downtrend on a higher term time frame. It wouldn't be a complete write-off, but it wouldn't look good. Momentum's still shifting to the down. Histogram's ticking further and further into the red, and the MACD moving averages are moving below the 0 point, or will be moving down below the 0 point unless we pull our socks up, today, to be honest with you. And again, it all depends, not all depends, but largely will depend on what Powell said. What's he gonna say today? And I'll put it to you that what else can he say that he's not already said? I'm sure there is plenty, but if the market is priced in a 50 basis point so far and it's brought us down to major supports, then he's going to have to say something pretty nasty to bring it down even further. These markets are holding at obviously the bottom area of support, but still a significant support on a higher term time frame being dailies. So Euro, gold, Bitcoin, and maybe not S&P, but there is a bit of hope there that on the shorter term time frames we do find a bounce. But again, I'm not touting that as anything particular. I'm looking at those other ones, the gold, Euro, and Bitcoin that are all doing basically the same thing. We recognise that these markets all move together at the moment. One is not necessarily better than the other. There seems to be some that sometimes where last week we managed to catch the move on stocks, and Bitcoin basically was flat as a pancake throughout that. Now things will really start to change for Bitcoin if we get back above this 50 exponential moving average. Currently sitting around 22,350. If we break above there, then I would say incrementally we'll start to take steps back up to where we came from. And I'll probably target this this area around 24,400 initially to see where we go. We'll be back up into the upper side of the range. But can we go on to make a new high? Well, based on this chart right now, there is evidence enough to suggest that this would be a V-shaped recovery. This is what you expect to see when you get into the golden cross retest, and then you do go on to make new highs. But obviously, if you're futures and derivatives, you're going to have to pay attention to all the dominoes prior to this chart. Obviously, the Euro being one, it corresponds to the Dixie very obviously. Gold, not so much of a problem. But gold can more or less do its own thing as a commodity. That's different. But S&P as well, I'd say we'll be looking for the S&P to move with Forex. So that is basically all I got for you today. There's not much more to be said about that. Like I say, I have taken a position only in the Euro. I'm waiting for gold to potentially come down a little lower, and obviously I got my position on Bitcoin back down here anyway, so I'm just happy to sit back and wait for that. When it comes to altcoins will move with the market, but we were looking on the Patreon live stream last night, and most altcoins, and I say most, you can see I've got XRP here. I'm going to make a separate video about that today, release that later on today. But most altcoins are basically moving with Bitcoin, so they're not very convincing on their own charts. If anything, they're moving just in the shadow of Bitcoin. And of course, there'll always be some altcoins which are much better setups than others. We didn't see any last night, and outside of XRP, to be honest with you, and even XRP has limits on it at the moment. But again, stay tuned for that video, man. I'll release it in 6 hours when the algorithm thinks it's a good time to spread my videos apart. But look, if I was to put it to you now, I'd just say that look, there's no chance of an alt season in the traditional sense of the word or phrase at this current moment in time. Will alts perform the same as Bitcoin? Yeah, they will. But will they move individually? Probably not. Will they move with Bitcoin? Yes. And so what should we look at? Probably just the Bitcoin chart. And again, we know that looking at the Bitcoin chart has to be looked through the lens of Forex and indices as well. So what's the point in trying to trade altcoins and get clever when really the setup presents itself on the Bitcoin chart, and all altcoins are largely going to move as a result of that? Quite wordy way of saying Bitcoin and altcoins are going to do the same thing, but it's all based around the Bitcoin chart. Sweeping statement, but largely true. Right, I will leave it with you there. As far as algorithm pump questions are concerned, obviously you can ask me to look at some altcoins. If there's something worth looking at, I'll look at it and I'll make a video about it. So I suppose just tell me what altcoin it is that you're particularly most interested in trading outside of Bitcoin. Is there something else going on that chart that is not present on a Bitcoin chart? If that's the case, leave me a comment in the description below. Otherwise, just tell me what the temperature is, because I'll tell you what it is around here. -2 degrees. Yeah, anyway, I'll leave it with you there. Thank you for watching. Good luck if you're looking to trade today. Like I say, I have entered some positions only in traditional markets, Forex and potentially gold. I'm not looking to overextend my my margin today, but I still feel as though there is likely to be upside based on what we see, even if Powell decides to fart down that microphone today. Right, thanks for watching. Have a nice day. Take it easy.